Super excited to have everyone on. We're going to have an epic webinar today live from the Maldives. Of course, right now it's 11 p.m. at night, but we are live from the Maldives and we are at an ultra luxury five-star resort that I'm super excited to be broadcasting from. And as everyone jumps on, we're going to be going in depth about all aspects of learning how to be the master at destination wedding planning. So everyone, I am Kevin Michael Schmitz, and I am the TV director, executive producer, and host of the TV show Great Escapes that airs on CBS. And I also work with coordinating, planning, and creating the most mind-blowing, ultra-luxury destination wedding experiences in the world. And that's why today we're going to go in depth about some of the secrets and strategies to high-end destination wedding planning. So those of you guys who are joining us, hopefully you guys are wedding planners, and that is something that we're going to be essentially building this network, growing, giving, and discussing some tips and strategies that you guys can use for to incorporate into your clients' opportunities. So today I have a lot of topics I want to cover, and I also have a lot of questions that I have for you guys, and I want this to be as interactive as possible. So a few things I want to cover today are how to price a destination wedding for the client, and also within the pricing, how to maximize that profitability. Because, as a wedding planner, of course, we're doing this as a business, and we want to make sure that we can make as much money as possible per client, with also creating the mind-blowing, unbelievable experience, spare no expense type of creation for the client, and make sure they feel like they're getting the most value out of your services. So we're going to go in depth about that. Also, how to market your luxury wedding planner brand, how to book those ideal clients, not just the clients that might hear about you or find you, or that might be easy to come by, but might not want to pay the fees that really you deserve, because planning a destination wedding is not an easy project, especially if it's in somewhere really remote, or in another language that can be even more difficult. Also, we're going to go in depth about kind of the international complexities that you never even thought that would be an issue. And I know this is something that comes up a lot of times, when you're planning for a wedding in the United States, the kind of the nuances of that and some of the logistics of that they're kind of thrown out the window when you start planning a destination wedding in somewhere like in Italy or France, or something in the Caribbean. It might have different standards, might have different quality of vendors, or maybe in Asia or South America. So depending on where you guys are dealing with destination weddings, there can be a lot of challenges, international complexities that I definitely want to go in depth about today. Also, essentially, secrets to creating that dream wedding for clients where they demand the very best, and you're working with the ultra luxury upscale clientele. And this is something that I exclusively deal with. We only deal with the most elite high-end clientele. We're not dealing with anything low-end, and oftentimes, it's in the seven-figure type of range. So that's the type of clientele that we are targeting and working with. So if this is something that you guys are also dealing with or interested in getting involved at that scale, I want to kind of reveal some of the secrets and strategies to dealing with that. Also, publicity, how to harness the power of top magazine editorials, getting your weddings, getting the events in ultra high-end wedding magazines and feature publications, not just the Knot or on Wedding Wire, but also on major publications like Elle and Vogue, Vanity Fair. Some of the stuff that's very, very high profile. That's something that's very important. And it's something that a lot of wedding planners kind of negate. And it's something that, if you want to, create this, this brand and this feeling of how you only do high end, well, it's got to be high end. It's got to work. You've got to have, not only a luxury brand, but also you've got to have the publicity. You've got to be able to showcase that, you only deal with the best of the best. For instance, this is something that we shot actually at an ultra luxury destination location. And this actually happens to be in Massé-en-Cambrai, France. This, of course, is just an unbelievable ultra luxury type of event. And it's something that we also are, that gets published in numerous magazines and publications. But creating publicity and PR around your brand is very, very important. And also to attract fantastic vendors, maybe even getting comped stuff from vendors. This is also something that I love to get involved with, whether you're dealing with florists or whether you're dealing with any type of designers. It can really, really help having the publicity to kind of push that across, so that oftentimes you are getting a tremendous value and unbelievable experience for your clients, but not having to necessarily pay for everything. It gives a huge advantage to you and the clients to have a lot of publicity. All right. Another, few things that I wanted to go over. And by the way, guys, and while you guys are on, feel free to ask questions in the Q&A. I'd love to hear some of your questions and to answer them live. And also, I'm going to put up some polls because I also have some questions for you guys about what type of clients you guys work with. I'm very, very curious about that. So as you guys are on here, I'd also love for you guys to answer some of these questions. I'm launching a poll now, and I'd love to hear from you guys. First of all, what are the top destinations your clients want to book for their destination weddings? So, I know from American clients, oftentimes it's the Caribbean. They want to go down and, do the Caribbean wedding is a really, really popular one. So obviously it's easy to get to from Florida or, from the United States. Also, I know right now, France is super hot. Everybody, with Emily in Paris and all the romantic aspects of a destination wedding in France. Unbelievable experience. England and, maybe at a castle in England. Italy, going to an Italian villa, or something down in the Cinque Terre or in Tuscany or Rome or Venice. It's so romantic. So please, guys, answer these questions. I'd love to know, what are the top destinations your clients want to book for their destination wedding? I'd love to hear that from you guys, whether it's Greece, Greek islands, maybe the Maldives, which is actually where I'm broadcasting from right now. I'm at Alila Kathafaru. I'm in the Maldives as we speak, and it's unbelievable. And we're actually been filming here for 26 days for episodes of the TV show Great Escapes that airs on CBS. So very romantic destination. And it's also a place that I have developed a collaboration with for my ultra luxury clients that we want to send here as well. Also, Bora Bora, French Polynesia. I know that's oftentimes a honeymoon destination, but also I know, weddings are becoming more and more popular there as well, but very, very expensive, high end, because Bora Bora is very exclusive. I believe there's only about 7 resorts in Bora Bora. So the cost is pretty astronomical. Dubai, Middle East, or other international destinations. Could be Asia, South America, or maybe, some of your clients only want domestic weddings. And guys, if that's the case, and I know some of you guys on here are only handle clients that deal with domestic weddings, that's awesome. But the thing is what about the opportunity to essentially sell them on the idea to do a destination wedding? What does that look like? A lot of times people don't even think about it. They just want to think about, okay, where the bride's parents, where the groom's parents, where their families are going to be coming from. But why not do a destination wedding, a luxury wedding, not just an elopement? So it's something that I do recommend that you guys do push to your clients, because there are so many opportunities, not only for it to be an incredible experience, but also oftentimes your clients will just love you for it. And also there's a lot of money to be made in that. There is a lot of margin that you can add to it. And of course, it's a lot of fun to go out there and do a destination wedding, for you guys to join your clients in some incredible experience. All right. Also, I'm curious of what are the typical wedding budgets that you guys work with when you plan weddings for clients? Are you in the 7-figure range? Are you doing $500,000 plus, 250, 100,000, 50,000, 25,000 or less? What range are you guys in? Because this is also something that's very, very important to think about. Okay, what kind of budgets are you handling, and what kind of budgets do you want to handle? Now, of course, sometimes it's a double-edged sword. Some, wedding planners think, oh, well, if it's, the $1 million wedding, it can be a little bit too stressful, too much for me. Do I really want that type of liability on my hands? And I get that. I totally get that. It's a fair and honest perspective. But oftentimes you're also, dealing with too low end of a client. If you're just handling something for a $25,000 budget or something, is it even worth it? And of course, all wedding planners have their different model, but oftentimes it's a percentage. And obviously, the larger budget the project is, the more money you're going to make on that percentage. So, I don't know if, what you guys do, if you're doing it a set fee, or if it's 10% or 12% or 15% of the budget, what that entails. But also, when it comes to it, think about the big, piece of the pie. I'm also curious, and by the way, I'm going to share all the results of this survey with all of you guys, because I think it's really interesting. So please answer it if you guys haven't already. Also, as a wedding planner, how much do you make as a wedding planner per wedding? So what are your earnings on that? And this is when it's all said and done. What are your earnings on that project? Are you in the 25,000 plus, the 15,000 plus, 10,000, 5,000, or is it under 5,000? Where do you guys stand? And also, and this is important too. What do you want to make as a wedding planner? Do you want to be, shooting for those huge numbers and earning huge money? Or is it just something you do for a passion and for fun, and you're really not as concerned? I'm also really interested in hearing about that as well. And please, guys, ask some questions in the Q&A. I'd love to answer them. Would you be interested in also a free all-inclusive luxury trip to a French castle? This is, of course, no strings attached. This is something that kind of unrelated here to what we're doing in the Maldives. But this is something that if you guys are interested in that is something we are also offering as essentially it's kind of like a hand-picked to pick out of a lottery of an opportunity for you guys to actually go to that castle, the one we actually just discovered. Now, granted, right now we're here in the Maldives, but we actually fly back to the castle on Sunday. We're actually spending a few days in Paris, and then we're heading to the castle. And this happens to be not only an incredible castle, but I actually own this castle. This is a 49-room 13th century French palace in Massé-en-Cambrai that I own. And it is also a ultra luxury wedding destination venue where I have Michelin star chefs. We have butlers, maid service. We have massage therapists on premise, a jacuzzi on the square tower, and it's on 12 acres of land, and we can host up to 800 guests at the wedding for their high-end weddings. And we're also using it as filming locations, not only for my TV shows, By and Abroad for HBO Max, as well as Great Escapes, but also we are going to be incorporating it into some high-end television shows. And think of, we're working with TV shows similar to like Emily in Paris, as well as Downton Abbey and Bridgerton. So this is also kind of that exclusive, unbelievable wedding venue that a lot of brides just go absolutely crazy for these days. And it's something that I, really wanted to share with you, because also this is something where we are offering we are actually doing this every month. We're going to be selecting winners of those who we will give an all expenses paid trip, all exclusive trip to the castle, where you actually get to come and stay at the castle for free, and you get waited on like a queen, which is pretty fantastic. Dining with our Michelin star chefs, having an unbelievable experience, carriage rides through the laneways, and we're also going to be doing like a high production fashion shoot actually during those trips as well. So if that's something you guys are interested in, also please answer in the Q&A as well. Also, I'm interested, how many weddings do you guys plan per year? Are you doing large quantity? Are you doing 50 plus? Are you doing 25 plus, 15, 10, 5? Where are you guys at with all of that? So interesting. Okay. So guys, this is absolutely fantastic. And thank you so much for answering those questions. If you haven't already, please do. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Very, very important, because I want to know. And I find this interesting because, guys, I really want to, help you. I want to point out some opportunities, some missed opportunities, and some possibilities for you to become greater at what you do, and also give you guys some tips and strategies, things that you might not have thought of. And oftentimes, a lot of my fellow wedding planners are maybe a little bit scared about, hey, if I plan a wedding and, am I planning a wedding to do it in France? What the heck am I going to do? If I go to France, how am I going to speak French? How am I going to deal and find wedding vendors? What's going to happen? Like, how does this all work? Where am I going to find my photographers, my videographers? Where am I going to find my caterers? Dealing with French people is a challenge and a half. I can't tell you how difficult it is. It's something that's absolutely crazy and chaotic. And I know firsthand, okay, this is something that I obviously have had a lot of experience with here in France. And it's something that I spent a lot of time there. So I get to deal with that all the time, dealing with the French. So if that's something that also, you guys want some tips and strategies on dealing with the international clientele. Okay, for instance, when you're handling France, you're also dealing with French people. And French vendors, oftentimes, they don't have the same work ethic. So sometimes that can be a big challenge for us all. If we are handling something in France and you're dealing with people that only want to work a couple of hours a day, they're not willing to be there all day, all evening. You have to really make sure that you have people that you trust. People that also are bilingual, especially if your guests don't speak French. This is actually a big issue. And outside of Paris, I mean, in the city of Paris, a lot of people do speak French, but they don't want to. But outside of anywhere out of Paris, most people don't really speak English outside of Paris. So, other than the Côte d'Azur and Paris, the rest of France is pretty much just speaks French. So this is something that's also kind of a challenge to get to deal with. And it's something that, we identify, and it's something that, I want to help you guys with, because it's something I have a lot of experience with, and it can be a challenge and a half to deal with that. If you guys want some tips on that, one of the things that I recommend doing, if you are going to go and plan a wedding in France for a client, for instance, definitely do your homework. Start getting a really, really early jump on all of this, because finding people that are even going to work during the summer is a challenge. For instance, most of you might not know this, but in August, everything in France shuts down. So literally, you can't get anything. I mean, you want to find musicians, you want to find caterers, you want to find photographers. Literally everything in France completely stops in August, and everybody goes on holiday and they are gone, and they just are unwilling to work. So a lot of times, if a bride's all excited and they want to do their wedding in August, you've got to realize that the entire country is shut down. So if you want to be able to make that happen for your clients, that's something that you're going to have to plan for, and maybe even bring in people from elsewhere if that's the case. Because, unless you have an infrastructure in place already of amazing people that you can trust and count on, and are going to work during those summer months, otherwise it can be a big, big challenge. If you guys are looking at doing something in another country like France, that's something to really take into consideration. It's something that I've dealt with, and I can tell you what, it is something that, like, oh my goodness, like, it's something that you've really got to prepare for, and you've got to build your infrastructure there, because your infrastructure is key and critical. Now, on the flip side, if you are in a place like the Maldives, which is where I'm at right now, it's a bit different. In the Maldives, everything is taken care of for you. So that's another place where, if you go and you want something taken care of, the Maldives, you go there and the resort is like, it's all inclusive, everything's super easy. And oftentimes, a lot of people will do kind of smaller scale weddings there, because, place here in the Maldives, it's very remote. It takes a huge amount of time to get there from America. Between flights and waiting for flights, it takes about 40 hours, literally 40 hours, right? So that's nuts. It's a long time, just because it's about maybe 26 hours of actual flying time, and then the rest of the time waiting for planes, and sitting in airports. So just be aware of that. If you are planning, bride and groom want to, plan a wedding for the Maldives, you've got that challenge. You've got the challenge of, okay, that sounds great and all, but getting, the family and the extended family to fly there, and spend, do a 40-hour journey, it's another story. And that's why oftentimes, only certain select people are going to actually make it to something like that. All right, now since we're on the topic of this too, is of course the beautiful thing as the photography and the video. By the way, this is content that my team, this is what we actually shot here. This literally, this was shot 2 days ago here at Alila Katafaru. This is the resort. It's an ultra luxury 5-star resort, but honestly, you guys, I'm telling you, Maldives is basically 7-star. It's, it blows away like a Four Seasons or a Ritz-Carlton in America. It's not even on the same ballpark. The Maldives is so much more luxury, so much more epic. It's on another level. So it's something that, from everything from the luxury overwater villas, to the incredible service, to all the little details when it comes to it. It's just an absolutely ridiculous place, and of course the kindness and the love of the people is something that's really special. So when planning something like the Maldives, I want you guys to also make sure to realize that it's a one island, one resort concept. So you can't just find other vendors outside of that island. It's literally, you have one choice. It would be the resort that you plan the wedding at. So if you're going to do that, definitely negotiate with them up front and make sure that they're giving you the best possible rate, and also the best possible kickback for you, because obviously you're bringing that business to the table of that resort, and you want to make sure that you're going to be compensated appropriately for that. So it's something that I would always do, is negotiate that upfront with the resort, because of course they're going to be handling all of the catering, they're going to be handling the music, all of the generally also photography and video, which is something that one thing I would do is I would bring in an outside vendor to do photography and video. I would bring them with you from America, ideally, so that you can trust them, because otherwise that's one thing. The photographers and videographers here in the Maldives, they're just local Maldivian guys that they don't really know what the hell they're doing. So I would definitely recommend, for high-end client, bring in a world-class photographer, because it's really, really important, and videography team. So in a place like this, though, as you can see, it's incredible. You've got these amazing little peninsulas with just pure sand, and the best months and time to go here is going to be not what you might expect. A lot of times, like obviously wedding season is going to be, in America, it's, June, July, August, etc. But here in the Maldives, the best time to go is the dry season, and that's January, February, March, April. Those are going to be the best months to go and actually do your wedding in the Maldives. So for those winter clients, that is something that I would definitely recommend. And, and here at this resort, I have to say, at Alila Kathafaru, we've actually been to 3 different resorts. We've been to Amila, we've been to Amila Fushi, Pullman Maldives, and Alila Kathafaru. These are all about $1,200 a night resorts, and also all-inclusive and full board with as far as food. And of course, as you can see, it's just a one island, one resort concept, which is incredible. So every grain of sand is perfect. Every detail for the wedding is perfect. And the service is bar none the best in the world. But also realize that you are limited to just what that resort offers. So make sure the catering's unbelievable. And at this one, I can tell you what, Alila Kathafaru, the best food of any resort that I've been to in the Maldives, and I've been to about 15 that we've done productions at. So anyway, so just something to start thinking about. All right, guys, and please ask some questions. All right. A great question from Talia Gonzalez. You're asking, what is your favorite destination to offer to clients who are looking to get the most bang for the buck as well as temperate weather? That's a great question, Talia. So, I would say that in many cases, there are certain places where you can get a lot for your money. And I would say a place like Bali would be a good one. Bali, as far as, the kindness of the people, as far as logistics, there's a lot of, a lot of services and vendor services in Bali, because obviously people are doing weddings there all the time. It's a fairly large island. There's a lot going on. It's not like the Maldives where it's secluded and isolated, and there's 1,200 islands in the Maldives and only a couple hundred are inhabited. So they're very, and they're all just these little tiny specks of sand out there in the middle of the ocean on these atolls with these resorts. So as far as bang for your buck, I would say Bali is going to be a lot of bang for your buck. And it's not as overpriced as places like in the Caribbean or Europe or the Maldives, especially. I would say the most expensive in the world are going to be Maldives, Bora Bora, other places in French Polynesia like Latahaha. We've done productions. We actually filmed episodes of our TV show there at, which is Relais Chateau, which is a chain of ultra luxury Michelin star resorts. So, but I would say Bali is a great one. And also, you can, and then you got to think about, okay, bang for your buck. Is that really what you want to do for your client though? I would suggest, okay, offer them some, different options, but also encourage them to invest more, rather than just letting them dictate, oh, okay, we have $50,000. That's all we have, make this happen. Well, maybe start with that, but then educate them on what the real cost is these days, what the real cost of a wedding is. And, I don't know about you guys, but, I can't picture weddings in California being under $100,000. It just doesn't really happen very often. Weddings have gone up pretty dramatically. I'm based in California, even though I kind of, reside between California, France, and Australia. But I have to say, weddings are not cheap, and you as wedding planners need to be compensated appropriately. And part of that is trying to convince the client to invest more in their event, so that obviously you can also get higher commission, because that's very important. I want to make sure you guys as wedding planners are going to be, getting what you deserve, because that's absolutely key. And try not to fall into the whole, bang for your buck kind of, concern. So, obviously I know, obviously bride and groom are always gonna be concerned about that, but I want you thinking about luxury and what that bride can experience. What are they experiencing? Where are they? What is that moment going to be like for them? It's a really special experience. Okay. Now, another thing I wanted to get into is, okay, obviously we want to make sure the venue is incredible. We want to make sure that the destination is going to blow their mind. It's going to be something that's Instagrammable. It's something that they can showcase to, all their friends and family back home, and make them all envious and wish that they came to that wedding. Obviously very, very important. And, going to these just unbelievable experiences and showcasing these amazing water villas, for instance, here. We just filmed this yesterday in Alila Kathafaru. So amazing, amazing experiences. Now, when we're thinking about this too, what about giving them some additional value? For instance, if you're in a place like this, why not set up an option for them to do, and especially if you bring in a photographer and a videographer from elsewhere, why not set up an option for them to do a special high-end photo shoot or and video production outside of just the wedding day, but something really special for just them, making that bride and groom really feel like a king and queen, creating something that's really special where maybe it's not on the day itself, but it's leading up to it. And I'm not talking about engagement pictures. I'm talking about a staged wedding fashion story that's going to blow their minds. Something that is, they're going to have images that are going to be, they're just going to transcend, anything that you could do on a wedding day, because obviously, during the wedding day, everything is chaotic, it's crazy. And I want to make sure that, you got to make sure that your clients are super happy, and creating something like this, where we bring in high-end designer gowns. Oftentimes when we do productions like this, we might have them do 5 or 6 wardrobe changes. In this one, in particular, we had about $100,000 worth of wedding dresses that she was able to, fit into, and then brought in Frisian horses. We shot in front of the castle. I mean, it was incredible, absolutely spectacular. But creating these amazing moments where they just are completely timeless. Okay. By the way, I want to answer some more questions. So Sarah Wang asks, how do you charge? Flat rate, percentage, both? I'm currently charging a flat rate, but would love to learn how luxury planners charge as I'm heading to that direction. My clients' budgets have been increasing from 5 digits to 6 digits. That's great. I greatly appreciate any tips. Thank you. Okay. So Sarah, if you could also actually let us know what is your flat rate? Tell us, what's your flat rate? Just add it into the Q&A. Because that's helpful to know. Now, I can see both sides of this, Sarah. Okay, so $7K for full planning. Is that okay? Great. No, that's great. And I feel like that's definitely something that is a solid price for you to get. But I think you could do more. I would say that maybe have like a bare minimum, and maybe keep the bare minimum at, say, 10K, but then also offer it as a percentage. So as it goes up, and as your the budget goes up, you can, and of course you're handling the budget because you're the planner. So, essentially create it as a percentage of the budget. I think something like, some planners are doing between 10% and most planners are doing between 10% and 15%. I think 10% is very, very fair to the client. And a lot of times I feel like, if you're charging 10%, I would say maybe start at a minimum of 10K, Sarah, and then have a charge at 10%, fee. So if it's, obviously if the budget of the wedding is under 100,000, you're still getting your 10K. But then if it goes over 100,000, if it's 150, 200,000, 300,000, 500,000, you're getting 10% of that. So if it's a $300,000 wedding, you're making $30,000. Right. And I think that's very, very fair. I don't think that there's any reason not to do that. So start thinking about stuff like that. I think that's really important and valuable. Also, by the way, guys, and you guys are looking at this beautiful castle right now, right? So, it's pretty incredible. And you can also see more details at FrenchDreamCastle.com. If you have any clients that are interested in doing an ultra luxury wedding at a 49-room 13th century French castle, let me know. message me and let me know if you have some, anyone interested. Because by the way, we also offer opportunities. And this is something that a lot of times planners, obviously you're getting some kickbacks from vendors, which I always recommend. But, we do something a little different at the castle. It's something that's a little bit more over the top. Because for me, I want to make sure that my, as a planner as well as an owner, I want to make sure that the client is getting the most incredible experience, but the planners are being rewarded. So whether it's me planning it, or whether somebody else is bringing, another planner is bringing the bride and groom to the table, we offer a huge, generous opportunity. So if you have any clients that are interested in anything like this, Sarah, coming to a French Dream Castle, we have a range of packages. And the coolest thing is they range between $300,000 and $3 million. And this includes, for the up tier packages, a private jet flying them in, helicopter bringing them to the front courtyard, world-class celebrity fashion photographer photographing and filming them, creating mind-blowing content before and during the day. Their entire wedding party can stay in the castle because it's a 49-room castle. We can sleep about 38 guests, so the entire wedding party can stay in the castle, host up to 800 guests. We have celebrity and world-class musicians. We have the best of the best cuisine, Michelin star chefs. It's an incredible experience, and it's essentially a package deal. But the cool thing about this for planners is that if you've got a client who is willing to do something and invest $1 million in their wedding, not only will they have an experience that's so mind-blowing that no one else can compare it. I mean, this is something they can go back and their friends will just literally blow their minds. But also, you as the planner would make a straight 10% commission back. Meaning if it's $1 million wedding, you would make $100,000 from us. I would pay you $100,000. In addition, you should be charging your client also a 10%. You should be making $100,000. So you essentially, you'd be doubling how much you're earning. And the best part is, all you have to do is be the liaison between your bride and groom and our team of planners on the ground in France that speak French, and they can manage all of the details. So you basically don't even have to do much work. It's just making sure that your bride and groom have the right colors, they choose the right cuisine, etc. But we handle all the logistics, all the vendor aspects here on the ground. And it ends up being a really, really good situation. So it's something that for wedding planners, they go nuts over because you end up making way more money in the end. So if you have any clients that, the bare minimum is $300,000 wedding. So if you have any clients that want something world-class and high-end like that, it's something that it's always great to upsell because listen, you guys can, and also having something like this in your portfolio obviously is pretty insane and mind-blowing. So start thinking about things like that. If you guys have any other questions too, please ask them. Okay, so Caitlin McIntyre says, would love more information on the castle. I have a client interested in booking for a future anniversary trip. Absolutely. So FrenchDreamCastle.com is the website. And I'll even send this in the chat to everybody. And and then also I will share the website so you guys can take a look. So it's absolutely incredible. And it is an experience that, a bride is just absolutely gaga over the Emily in Paris kind of concept right now, with the Olympics coming up in Paris in 2024, all these TV shows and, being filmed here in, out in France, as well as, films. France is really hot right now. A lot of brides are going there to Europe. So it's something that's absolutely spectacular. So if it's something that you want to showcase, Caitlin, be in touch about this because it'd be something that's really special and it's something unique that you can offer to your clients that will just blow their mind. And that's another thing is, having essentially a deck of options that you can show to your luxury destination clients, or even if they're domestic clients, but you're offering them an opportunity to do a destination wedding. So if they're, oh yeah, I really want to do it in Manhattan and New York. Well, that's fabulous. We can do it. Let's rock and roll. Or here's my deck of options of international, unbelievable destination weddings if you've ever thought about it, or maybe doing both. that's also another option. Doing a destination amazing wedding for, the wedding party, and then and maybe, some select guests that are willing to travel, and then doing one domestically in the United States. So that is definitely an option. And I think that it's something that I want you guys to start thinking about. So for instance, showing them a deck of like, okay, fabulous castle in France, maybe a fabulous castle in Ireland or England, or an amazing experience in the Caribbean, down in the Cayman Islands, or is it something like going to the Maldives and having an experience in the Maldives that is just gonna boggle their mind, and it's just like, oh my goodness, the Maldives, and have this out in the middle of an atoll and have this crazy perfect experience, or going down to Bora Bora, wherever you want to go, or wherever they'd want to go. I mean, just something that obviously for me, it's places I would want to go. So of course, I'm going to be pushing my clients to the places that I'm in love with, and my energy, it pays off because they're coming to me for advice. They're coming to me for my expertise, and I want to give them my guidance. I want to help them. That's what we're here for. We're in the business of helping people. Right. So I want you guys to realize that, your guidance on that, pushing them into that, and also investing, more into their weddings themselves. You're just helping them. It's amazing. By the way, this is just some more content of what we're doing here in the Maldives. So just, amazing experiences, and having, culinary delights that are just out of this world. It's on another level here if you guys haven't been. So thinking about and creating a deck of opportunities to showcase, but of course, make sure that when you bring forth these options, I would already have done your research. I would already have built relationships with all those venues and vendors and have it all ready to go. And you already know what your cost is, what your margins are, and how much you stand to make, and also make sure to give the expectations of your clients so they know and are aware of how much they should be spending, because that's always a big issue. Making sure, a lot of times, obviously clients never think it's going to add up to what it is, and you have to educate them and make them realize what the true cost is, especially for that special day that they're never going to have again. Okay, so guys, obviously we've gone over so many amazing things, and I really appreciate you guys all answering in the polls, and I'm going to share the results as well right now. So we have what are the top destinations your clients want to book for their destination weddings? And it looks like a majority of you guys said Caribbean, so that's hot, as well as we kind of spread across the board. But Caribbean, some for France, Greece is super popular, in Italy, that's fabulous. Other destinations not listed, I'd love to know what those are. So if you guys actually answered that, like other international destinations that are not listed here, please message it in the Q&A of what some of the destinations are that aren't listed here, that your clients want to go. I'd love to hear about that. Also, how much do you make as a wedding planner per wedding? And it looks like most of you guys said around 5,000. But it's kind of all between, most of you guys in between 5K and 10,000. Okay, great. And then we've got another segment of you that are in the 25,000 realm. Okay, that's fabulous. And then okay, and of course you guys all would want to come to France and come and stay at the castle, which is amazing. How many weddings do you plan per year? It looks like a lot of you guys are in the kind of a range, but 10 to 50 weddings. And okay, that's great. So of course, obviously 50 weddings, that's a lot. I'd love to hear from you guys about 50, because that means you must have a pretty big team underneath you, unless, I can't imagine you handling 50 plus weddings in a year by yourself. So you must have a team that you can delegate. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you are a 50 plus, please message me as well. That sounds amazing. All right. And Sarah Wang mentioned Bali. That's great. Absolutely. That's another fantastic choice. Balinese weddings, and mostly because Bali, like I was mentioning, there's a lot of bang for your buck there, and the people are super nice. Cuisine's amazing. But it does have rainy seasons, so you have to watch that. And there is a grittiness to Bali. So you also have to prepare your clients. If they've ever been to Bali, there's, when you fly into Denpasar, there's a little bit of a grittiness to it. There's a lot of poverty and stuff. So your clients have to be prepared for that. Now, obviously, outside of that, and when they're staying in Seminyak or Canggu or in Ubud, it's an incredible experience. It's ultra luxury, or Uluwatu, and you can have unbelievable experiences, ultra luxury 5-star resorts and amazing destinations, incredible Hindu temples. It's pretty spectacular. And also, fun fact about that, guys, you guys, I don't know how many of you guys have been to Bali, but in Bali, literally every single house in Bali also has a temple attached to it. So there's literally like hundreds of thousands of temples, because every person's home is a home on one side and a temple on the other, which is really special. So there's a lot of really cool energy there. And I feel like it's a really fabulous place to go, whether it's a wedding or if it's a, honeymoon, obviously. Also, if you guys are, I didn't ask this, but I'm also curious if you guys are also planning honeymoons for your clients, because I know some planners do, some planners don't. I love to do that as well. I think that it's important to incorporate it as an all-inclusive, amazing experience, so that is just start to finish, soup to nuts. The client doesn't have to think about anything. It's all taken care of for them. So what I would do, for instance, is like, hey, have my client come to the 49-room castle in France, or come to, Highclere Castle, Downton Abbey, or come to, an amazing Italian villa in the Tuscan countryside. And then afterwards, go and do an incredible honeymoon in Bora Bora, or in the Maldives, or in Bali, or wherever it is, and create some experience that way too. So that there's a lot of different options, a lot of different ways you can go. But I love that. I love creating a whole package so that it's all taken care of together. And of course, you still, make your margin on that. So of course, that's another big budget. And the kind of clients we deal with, they are really high budget clients. So that is a whole nother budget that is that we can also get our percentage from. So I think that's really, really important, because obviously we're always coming up with new ways of monetizing ourselves as planners. Okay, Jerice Kelly asked, how did you transition into these destination and higher end weddings? Sorry if I missed that part of the webinar. So Jerice, you know what? A lot of it is just mindset. I mean, when you're thinking about all of this, it's like, okay, do I want to be low end and just cater to the regular, lower class customer who might be a pain in the neck, wants the world and doesn't want to pay for it? Or do I want to be paid what I deserve? And I don't know about you, but I feel like I should be paid what I deserve. I feel like, I feel like I have a value, and I want to make sure that my clients perceive that value and that I can bring something special to the table. But here's the thing. I'm also adding a lot of value. I'm adding so much to the table that the clients are just like, oh my goodness, I can't imagine doing it any other way. You give them so much value that it's not just being kind and nice and helpful, but it's like bringing things so over the top, that they're just wowed and dazzled. Bringing in a celebrity fashion photographer that shoots for Vogue to come and photograph their wedding. Making them feel like a superstar, making them feel like they are, on the cover of a Vogue magazine, making them feel like that. That's what we're talking about. We're doing high end and we're thinking high end. So for me, I never dabbled with low end. I went straight to the top. I don't want to mess with that. It's not worth my time. And I don't even want to bother. I don't want to scrape around and have to deal with that. So now, guys, also start thinking more national. I think that's another big issue, is a lot of wedding planners are always thinking just like in their little microcosm of where they live. I don't want you to think that way. I want you to think big. I want you to think national. Just because you live in, in Pennsylvania or something doesn't mean you can't be a high-end wedding planner in Manhattan. Why not? A lot of times, you know, a lot of times they're like limited on what and where you're located. And I don't think there should be any limit. I certainly am not. I'm not located. I'm located on 3 continents. So literally, but offering value like this, you know, shooting, you know, with unbelievable supermodel level quality, with, you know, world-class top fashion photographers and videographers to create content where the client feels wowed and dazzled. Right now, this is something I have a lot of experience with because, you know, that's where I came from, is that world, and the creative side. So, but, you know, I have obviously relationships as well. I can bring anyone to the table. So, you know, if that's something, some value that you can add to the client. Unbelievable 5-star chefs, Michelin star chefs, incredible venues, high, you know, and these are venues that are also very, very, very exclusive. They're not just anybody can get access to, too. That's a whole nother aspect. These are, you know, kind of special venues, ones that that are kind of on another level. You know, or providing services like, you know, bringing them in on a private jet, or bringing them in via helicopter to the courtyard, arranging stuff like that, wowing and dazzling. Or, you know what, maybe giving them some experience. Like, for instance, you know, going to, and this is kind of just one I just thought of right now, Jerice, is in my TV show that airs on CBS, actually airs on Saturdays on CBS, called Great Escapes. You know, one of the things that that we did was, now this was just for the show, but like, this would be something amazing to offer your bride and groom, is something such as the is an experience of like, say, skydiving over Mount Otamanu when they go down and they go on their honeymoon, you know, or maybe package it together as part of the wedding experience. Maybe, you know, you know, the groomsmen come in and they have, as, you know, as part of their, you know, bachelor party, maybe they get in and they do a part of that while they're there at that wedding destination, right before that destination wedding. And this is actually from my show, Great Escapes, right? So this is something where, you know, we were in Bora Bora, and we also did all these amazing experiences, and we did things. It also just, we experienced outrigger breakfast, you know, swimming with sharks, doing things like underwater submarine experience, or skydiving, you know, things like this. So, you know, these would be experiences that you could add more value to your customer and be like, hey, listen, on top of that, we're not only going to do an amazing destination wedding in Bora Bora, but I've got you already booked in for skydiving for their bachelor party. You guys are all going to skydive over Mount Otamanu, or you guys are all going to do this underwater submarine experience, or so make it fun. Give them an experience, not just, hey, let's do the wedding there. Let's give them an experience that they'll never forget, and they will be so excited and grateful for you, right? So I want you guys to think bigger, right? And this is something that is, and of course, obviously this is from a TV show I did, but this is another option of something that I just thought about. And it's like, hey, why not offer some value like that and bring to the table where they are wowed and dazzled by an experience that they are, it's just like they live like gods. That's what you want, you know, and that way they'll pay whatever it takes. And of course, the more it goes up, the budget, you're still making 10% on that. That's the beauty of it. So start thinking about that, guys. All right. Also, love some more questions. You know, obviously there's so many things that I want to go into, but I'm also going to be doing a whole series of these amazing webinars because I love to influence and discuss, and I love to give and kind of disclose a lot of secrets, because to me, this is a lot of fun. And I love to, you know, build all of these relationships with you guys. I see it as collaborative, not competitive. I think it's really, really important. And I hope you guys do as well. So another thing too is I want you to start thinking about, you know, branding. And this is something that I want to go in depth about at the next webinar, but I want you guys to remember that, and by the way, if you guys have your websites, if you can put them on in the chat, I'd love to see them. And I could even choose one of you guys and actually talk a little bit about your branding and my perception of it, and give you a little analysis live if you're interested. But essentially, branding, you guys, is everything. Branding yourself as that world-class wedding planner that everybody is going for, everybody's falling in love with, everybody wants to be with. They're sought after, they're exclusive, super exclusive. Also, I want you guys to start thinking about if if you guys are a wedding planner, how are people getting in touch with you? How are they finding you? Are you, are they just finding you through word of mouth because you planned a wedding for their friend or their sister or whatever? Or are you also marketing? Are you reaching out to them? What does that look like? So, for instance, one of the things that I recommend is to create a systematic marketing campaign. I do highly recommend getting involved at the wedding expos, building a lot of leads there, because I think there's there's a bazillion wedding expos, but having a presence there is key. I think that getting published in as many wedding magazines as possible, collaborating with as many photographers as possible, is really, really important. Because the clients are going to come in from different ways. Maybe they're going to come in, where they found you on Google. Maybe they're going to come in from a photographer that and they need a planner. Maybe they're going to come in from a venue or another vendor. They're going to come in from different ways. So, I'd love for you guys to, start thinking about that. Also start thinking about, all right, well, with, on my website, okay, this is part of branding. Is all my contact info on there, or am I just putting a web form for somebody to fill out? Well, I would recommend to always have your contact information available. For instance, I can't tell you how many times I go to a wedding planner's website and they're like, I can't even find their phone number. Blows my mind. Okay, why would, high-end clients aren't going to sit around and fill out a stupid web form. They're just not interested. A lot of high-end clients might want to get their actual phone number and maybe text you or call you or shoot you an email, but doing just a web form, like, you're losing so many customers just by doing that. Now, you could have the option to fill out a web form, but always have your phone number, your email address, even have your mail address, whatever it takes. I would have everything on there available so that people can get a hold of you. And of course, make sure you're SEO'd really well on Google. I think Pinterest is a huge, huge advantage for wedding planners, being on Pinterest everywhere, and having and you can even, create ads on Pinterest. That's actually something I'm in the process of doing right now, is developing a systematic ad campaign on Pinterest. All right, so let me take Sarah's. Okay, so Sarah Wang, and thank you so much, Sarah, for asking some great questions. I've got your website right now. Okay, this is great. And you've got some video playing. Okay, you've got a let's chat. So you've got a little bot here going on. That's great. And then free wedding planning timeline. So you're adding some value, and then of course capturing their email address. That's cool. Okay, great. This is great. Now, a couple things right off the bat is, Sarah, and also Sarah, if you don't mind, if you could just tell me where you located? 626, that's California, I think. Anyway, message us on that. LA. Okay, great. So yeah, so you're in a great market because obviously LA is one of the wealthiest markets. You fantastic. You've got all your contact information on there. So genius. Love it, love it, love it. You have all your contact info and inquiry forms. So Sarah, you're already winning. Love it. And I also liked the option to capture your client's email. Now, I would definitely just suggest to maybe partner with some of your photographers on getting some more high-end photography and video. Some of the stuff is, some of the stuff is not. I think it's kind of like a little bit all over the place. I think that if you want to go for that really luxury market, the real luxury market, we want to get like the really, really high-end fashion wedding photography and also video. I think that this is a good slideshow, but it's a little bit, some of the stuff is stronger, some of the stuff is not, but it's definitely something that, you've got a lot of great content. But I would also, partner and really kind of like do an audit of the images and videos that have been shot at your weddings that you work with, and maybe pull out the best of the best of the best bride and grooms. I love this image, by the way. This one's gorgeous. But the best of the best bride and grooms, the most attractive, the best images and video and curate this just a little bit better as far as content. And also, I think the design of the website is pretty good. I like the wedding songbird. I think that's my wedding songbird. I like the logo. I think that's really sweet. I would say maybe if there's a way to like make the My Wedding Songbird like kind of floating over it rather than have that big white space on the top, because I feel like it takes up a third of your page. So I think that might actually be a bit stronger. So maybe it's just like a floating logo over the video playing in the background, and maybe have more video rather than just stills. Those are just a few suggestions. But thank you very much. And also, Sarah, do you have any great clients that like destination weddings? And if so, let's show some of those. Let's show some amazing places. Okay. All right. Back to some questions. We have, Diana at Eventually Events. Hey, I was one of the 50 plus, and I definitely have an amazing team. We are blessed to be exclusive coordinators for a couple of venues where we are the exclusive coordinators where the contracts include us. That's fantastic. We're also preferred at a few local venues, but I want more and out of the area. I want to focus on becoming and being a high-end wedding destination planner, currently located in California and Los Angeles. Perfect. Okay, well, Diana, sounds like you already have everything together. 50 plus weddings is really something to be proud of. I'm proud of you for that. That's amazing. That's a huge, huge, huge accomplishment. It means you're really not just a great planner, but you're a really great and sophisticated businesswoman. And you also can kind of figure it out the game. So props to you. Let's start branding you towards the higher tier events. And let me see if I can pull up your website, by the way. So it would be Eventually Events. All right, eventuallyevents.com. I'd love to kind of go over a little bit of this with you as well, Diana. Okay. Now, for some reason, Eventually Events, I'm having a hard time actually for that coming up. So Diana, if you want to put on your website, put it into our into the Q&A, that'd be really helpful, because eventuallyevents.com does not come up. So let's make sure that one works. All right, so Stephanie Whitfield would love to have a second eye look through, as I have traveled all over the US and as far as Europe. I'm trying to pull more into Europe, as I have done a wedding as far as Greece. Awesome, I would love your eye. Excellent, Stephanie. Okay, so and I have Viva, is it Viva La Event? Wow, fabulous. Okay, great. All right, so pulling up yours now, and okay, this is beautiful. Great website. So you're already selling me, okay? I really, really love this. So Stephanie, first of all, love the design, love the layout, really classy, looks very like, high end, very kind of like Vogue style, and very timeless, nice photography, really loving what you have here. That's beautiful. So off the bat, I'm very impressed. And let's see. And let's see, where's the connect? Got your email down there at the bottom. Fabulous. Got your phone number there. Great. Yeah, so far I like your branding. I think it's really strong. I'd like to see some more video. I think this is really gorgeous, but video is so hot right now, and a lot of clients are wanting to see more and more video, rather than like just the, I see a little bit here, but rather than just the still polished pictures that we all know are, retouched and selected. Video is really important, right? So this looks like a little blog about it. That's pretty cool. And you have this all connected on Pinterest. Love that. Okay, great. Great. So yeah, I would say, I would suggest just maybe adding more video and maybe having like a high-end fashion video landing page, something like that, and having that, come across maybe on the front page. But I really like your logo, your design. I think you're really, really, going the right direction. So beautiful, beautiful. Love it. Okay. So, and also, what are your, what's your pricing point, by the way? If you want to message also on the Q&A, I'd love to know your price point on that. What does that look like for you as far as, what you price and what type of high-end destination wedding events that you do? Video something like this, where it's, fabulous destination wedding, amazing video content, incredible venues, something really dreamlike, really special. Just might be nice to throw there on the website. Just a thought. Okay. All right. Caitlin McIntyre has, as a corporate planner, I'm used to working with in-house travel agents for booking travel. Do you have any suggestions on connecting with a travel agency or booking agent for wedding clients? That's a really, really good idea. Here's the thing, Caitlin. In the United States, obviously, wedding planners are super hot, and they keep getting more and more popular, more and more valuable, more and more competition. Travel agents are becoming less and less popular. Less and less people are using travel agents, and that we've seen that trend for a while now. Europe is a place where they still heavily use travel agencies, as well as Australia, as well as Asia, East Asia, and South Asia. So I would say collaborating with a lot of the European travel agencies can be really beneficial because they kind of do everything through the travel agencies. I know that's the way it works here in the Maldives. It's how it works in Europe. Everybody uses travel agencies. Now, I still think, yes, it's probably great to connect with travel agencies in the United States. But it's kind of hit or miss because not a lot of times, couples, even very wealthy couples, are going to be booking stuff directly. They're not, always going through travel agents. So still worth it. There are some luxury travel agents, ones that I work with personally, that build relationships with them. Feel free to, craft an email and contact them, asking their, telling them, hey, like, I offer these amazing opportunities and services. Give them some sort of incentive to work with you, and tell them what you're doing, because of course, the more collaborative, the better, and the more money they're going to make in commissions. But definitely craft an email up, pitch them, and get them to want to be a part of your team and have them as a referral partner. I recommend not just doing this to a few. I would get a full scale list, and that's what I do. So I'll get a list of 10,000 travel agents, and I will create a systematic email marketing campaign for something like that. So, creating an email marketing campaign specifically to those travel agents, and then personally emails, and, coordinate with them, offer services. And then of course, it's going to dial down to maybe the top 20 that you're going to be having the relationship with, that you can trust, that deal with luxury clientele, and that can throw business your way and back and forth, because it's very collaborative. Also, as a corporate planner, Caitlin, you have a lot of cool stuff and options to do stuff way beyond weddings, because the corporations, they're doing stuff. It isn't just a wedding season. You've got corporate season. You've got sales kickoffs in January. You've got all kinds of corporate events that you can plan. And also right now, it's really hot to do corporate destination events. A lot of times, Fortune 500 companies will do their sales kickoff in a place like the Cayman Islands or the Bahamas, or at a castle in France or England, or, they go to these amazing places all the time. And, it's all tax deductible for the company, and it's kind of a way for them to kind of get a vacation, but you still do the corporate event. And it's something that, you have a kind of a huge advantage there, Caitlin, because if you're doing both weddings and corporate events, you can do both. And actually at the castle, we also do super high-end corporate events as well. And because it's very COVID safe, it's out, in the French countryside, and it's perfect for the corporate executives to come out there and have their high-end corporate event. But I think that, connecting with travel agencies, I would create a systematic approach, also using LinkedIn. Love LinkedIn. You guys, I personally on LinkedIn, I have 16 1,000 connections on LinkedIn and 20,000 contacts. And I have 2 marketing people that literally all day long, every day are messaging people constantly. All day long, every day, messaging people, building relationships. I use a tactic called, I use the Sales Navigator and then also Ulink, which integrates into LinkedIn, and it's a way to systematically message people, add them as contacts, build relationships, and connect and start messaging with them. So you guys, you've got to be using LinkedIn as well. It's so important for a lot of things, not just clients directly, at potential clients, but also with especially with corporate events, hugely, as well as with vendors, as well as magazine publishers, as far as the photo editors and fashion editors that could publish bridal editorials. Because, for instance, we talked about adding more value. What about if you come to the table, a client comes to the table and be like, hey, well, not only am I going to plan the greatest wedding imaginable for you, in the French countryside, but also not only can I get this fabulous castle, I can get you published in number 8 magazine. I have guaranteed publication. I will get this thing, your wedding, you and you as the bride and your groom, published in number 8 magazine because I have a relationship with them. That's huge. That's huge. That would be something that would blow their minds. If you offer that and you give them an option of like, hey, I'm not just going to plan your wedding, but I'm going to do something really special that nobody else is doing for you. I'm doing something that is absolutely over the top, and I'm going to actually get you published, right? So LinkedIn is a great way to do that. And also building relationships with photographers that do that as well. And you guys, that's something that, me personally, that's my world as well. I mean, I have 250,000 photographers in my database. They receive about 1.4 million emails a month from me. And I have this huge network, which is really advantageous. So, they're a big key as well. So a lot of things to market, but a lot of guys, this is a big part of being successful in this business, is to be connected to everybody and constantly be marketing yourself so that people know who you are. People want to work with you, and people are desperate to work with you. They are excited to work with you. And you want clients like, begging to have the opportunity to work with you and to have this amazing experience that is going to completely blow their mind. And actually, I'll give you an example too of, getting, a scene like this published from, like using, with weddings and everything like that. So something like this, this is actually something we did, and getting it in Vintage New York City magazine. It's pretty fabulous. And to get this thing published, something really, really important to have in your portfolio to showcase to your other clients, because it's going to make them completely gaga over this. Really, really important. All right, guys, you're all asking excellent questions too, by the way. I absolutely love this. Let's see. And Stephanie Whiffle, also you did a follow-up. Thank you very much. 10K starting minimum, depending on location, could be more 15%, whichever is greater. Okay, that's excellent. Okay, and all right, guys. Well, thank you. You guys all had some really great questions. Hope you learned a lot. I definitely encourage you guys to all stay in touch. We're going to be actually directing another live webinar live from the French castle, which is going to be really exciting. We're going to be live from the castle. We fly to Paris on Sunday, and we're going to be actually in at Fontainebleau and Versailles, and then we're going to be down at the castle next week, and we're going to be directing another live webinar, but this one will be live from the castle. We're going to have a massive audience, and it's something that I encourage you guys all to jump on and join us as well, because we're going to go into all different more content, especially about planning in Europe, and all some of those secrets as well. So I encourage you guys to jump on as well if you have any additional wedding planners or friends that are into that world, please send them our way, as well as photographers as well. We're all about a connected network. And I really want you guys to join us and to stay in touch. If you guys want more information about the French Castle as well, we could actually set up a Zoom call with somebody on my team. And if you guys have any potential clients that would want to, basically check out the castle and be a part of it. If any of you guys have anybody that, you'd be like, hey, I want to be a part of this. I'd like to bring my clientele the opportunity to, to come to this fabulous castle. And also if you guys want to make that level of income, because remember what we talked about if you bring a client to the table here at the castle in France, it's 49 room 13th century French palace. And by the way, on top of that, the history is incredible. It's a 2,000-year-old, it's built atop a 2,000-year-old Roman palace, even has like a miniature Stonehenge style Celtic stone and on one quarter of on an area of the estate, and kind of almost like an Outlander type of stone, which is amazing. And then the castle itself is incredible because not only was it ruled by Count Durat for 750 years, the Durat family, but in the about 50 years ago, Rudolf Nureyev, the most famous ballet dancer in the history of the world, actually lived at the castle. So there's a full-scale ballet studio built for Nureyev at the castle, actually on the 3rd level, which is really special too. So if you have any clients who love ballet, there's a huge connection with Nureyev, and we actually have ballet classes with the prima ballerinas from Paris Ballet and such. So it's pretty spectacular. There's a lot of incredible stuff to see. And if you guys are interested in setting up a Zoom call with somebody from our team, I'd love and encourage you guys to build a relationship with somebody on my team. It's totally free, but it's all about just kind of consulting and giving guidance on planning. And also if you guys have any questions or want to collaborate with the castle, because remember, you bring in $100 million wedding, you make $100,000 in commission on that. So I know a lot of wedding planners get pretty excited about that because we're very collaborative and generous, just like, I want my clients to be with me. So it's something that we encourage. Okay, so Jenny Goodman says, I would like to bring future clients to your castle. What should I do? So Jenny, I would suggest go ahead and set up a Zoom call with somebody from my team. I just sent in the link on the chat, a chance to set up an appointment, and you can jump on with somebody from my team, and they'll connect with you. They'll answer all of your questions about the castle and talk about our amazing program to basically bring clients our way. Also, if you we are selecting each month through like a lottery of wedding planners that attend these webinars. We're going to be offering that and links from some of the upcoming webinars to get a free all-inclusive trip to the castle to stay and experience the castle, so that it's even more incredible to showcase to your clients, because they're like, oh my gosh, I went to the castle, it was amazing, I had this amazing experience. You got to have your wedding there. So that's another opportunity. And also, of course, I've got relationships with all these amazing resorts in the Maldives and Bora Bora to Bali to anywhere you could imagine in the world I've been, and I can of course give you guys guidance on all of that. So really excited about that. And thank you so much, Jenny and Sarah and Veronica and all of you that have been writing these amazing comments, and Diana. I really, really appreciate all of that. And I can't wait to, talk with you, and hopefully I can see you here at the castle. All right. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Please click on that link and set up a Zoom call with somebody from our team if you are interested. And I'm really looking forward to the next webinar. I want to make sure you guys join us. I will be sending out the details, and we will be joining. It's going to be on August 16th. On Tuesday, August 16th, live from the castle, from the front courtyard of it. And I'll be conducting another fabulous webinar on wedding planning and talking about the whole European experience of wedding planning. So it's a whole nother beast than the Maldives. So thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you guys on. Take care.